Hello, I've recently come across your page. I'm Arab, and here we believe in demon souls. My friends and I used to spend our nights talking about what we saw of them, what we felt, etc. It's not really my story, it's a story that happened recently in my countryside. We are an old village, and in the past 100 years, there were stories that kings and rich families used to hide their money in our grounds because just after our village, there were thieves. So, to keep them safe, they would hide them in the mountains and leave a mark. Many found treasure by searching these marks. So about 50 years ago, one family had a basement. They brought a sheikh. I don't know its name in English, but it's someone whose job is to talk to souls. If I mispronounce that, I am so exponentially sorry. Okay, you would think that someone who reads these stories every single day, would know how to pronounce so many words. I don't. Okay, I read books like that's nothing. Okay, I've got a Kindle too and an iPad. I read like crazy and I still can't pronounce words. Sorry. I'm just not trying to be disrespectful, so that's why I apologize, okay? Just because I'm stupid and can't read it doesn't mean anything. And I don't read these stories before I read them to you, which would make sense as to why sometimes I fuck up these words, okay? So they would take Armenian women, talk to souls, and trap them inside the women in the basement and talk to them to get hints about the gold. The nephew of the home was with him. Once we all name him X. He's the one who told us this story. X saw him put the souls into the women and talk to them, and then they will take the women, go into the mountain to the location the demon told them to search, and they will start digging. It was the first time X was present. They went into the mountain. The woman started saying that X shouldn't be here. He has the power to banish the soul, and that he had a crown of 3 crosses above his head. It meant that Jesus gave him this gift. They went back into the basement and released the soul into the basement. It was the last time X was present with them. A few years later, Mr. X started banishing souls from people. He would remove demon souls. He would see where a person goes after his death. He saw where my grandfather went. He knew that magic was done on my grandmother and that she needed prayers, and also had learned that the person who was putting the souls into the women and then releasing them was releasing them incorrectly, instead of releasing them to leave the house. He only released them. So, with X's expertise, he told the grandchildren of the family living here that the demon souls would come back to haunt them after 50 years when they were released. A few years back, about 6 or 7, they came back. So in the house was living one mother and her son, about 30 years old. And in the basement, some Syrian employees. So the employees started seeing cups flying and hitting walls. They heard voices at night. Someone tapped on their windows. They told the family, but they thought they were imagining things. Then, in the house, the old woman would see a child who would sleep next to her bed. Sometimes at night, people passing next to the house would hear voices. The house was in the middle of the village. Once 4 of my friends were passing by at around 2 a.m. 2 were wearing relics, rosemary and wood from the crucifixion of Christ, and the other 2 nothing. So the 2 who aren't wearing anything saw a woman in the middle of the road standing and looking at them. She had long black hair, she was wearing white, and they say that they froze, couldn't move, and then asked their 2 other friends if they saw the same thing. 2 told them that they didn't see anything and that there was nothing there. Another time, one of my friends who also didn't pray was sitting with his friends who wore religious relic. They were sitting far away from the house, but they could still see it. The one who wasn't wearing anything saw a woman appearing suddenly and then going into the wall. The other one didn't see a single thing. Now, someone prayed in the house and they banished the souls, but my 3 friends who saw these pray each week in church, and for me, I always wear religious relics, so I never saw anything when I was passing by that house. First of all, thank you so much for sending in this story. Absolutely insane to me. So if you guys didn't know, I've been trying to grow my other platforms besides just TikTok. And in doing so, I have made it to where I don't have them all connected. So like you can't follow my Instagram through here unless you go to the link and then go to the link tree, etc., etc. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They just want to click a button, see Instagram, follow, and then move on, which is totally fine. So I made it my mission to separately focus on each individual platform that I have and start growing my platform authentically. I do know quite a few people who pay for their views on here. They want to grow rapidly and they don't care where the follows and likes and views come from. I do. I care a lot. So I finally got to 10K on Instagram, and seeing a completely different country getting views of my content. Like, I have so many different people here that follow me and that watch my content. I get a lot of Ukrainian videos, and I get like stories from everywhere, but this is the first time I've ever got one from someone who is Arab. So thank you so much for sending in this story. Absolutely amazing to me, and I could not be more grateful. The meat and potatoes, if you're watching this in a compilation video on the YouTubes, if they don't have permission to use my content, please report it. To get into the meat and potatoes of this story though, I think there was a lot going on. I think that it's really crazy that X was like this chosen one. And the fact that he grew up to like almost be like the Punisher, you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of the Punisher, but for souls. It's really cool. It's got this like insane vibe to it, to be able to identify things so clearly. And I feel like it's so different than like a medium or a practitioner or someone with foresight that can like see the future, not with their crystal ball, but like see the future in general. I think it's exceptionally interesting that this guy is just running around being like, I can fucking see what's inside of you and I'm gonna expel it, girlfriend. Super cool, super grateful. Never heard of anything like this before. I will absolutely be looking up the correct pronunciation of that word, so in the future I can use it correctly, and I'm definitely going to be looking into it because I want to know if more people like X exist, because that's fucking sick. With that being said, I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. I don't know when I'm posting this. Yule/Christmas is coming. Hope your holidays are great. Love you.